here, welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're doing a ranking video. Now, to say that 2020 sucked is just a fact at this point, it's just a fact of life. It's like, water is wet, grass is green, Hellbent sucks. If you do like Hellbent, then that's perfectly fine. I personally hate it. Yeah, 2020 sucked, and one of the industries that had the biggest sort of damage to it were the arts. Theatres shut down, movie and TV productions had to be delayed and halted, and cinema shut down. So a lot of films this year either had to be put on a streaming service or delayed to 2021. However, during lockdown, a lot of people were probably watching a lot of movies and TV shows, and probably watched more TV than they ever had when they were a kid. I was one of these people who was watching various things, whether it was Doctor Who or other TV shows and movies. I've watched a fair few movies, and I decided to rank every movie that I've seen this year, whether it's the first time or whether it's on a rewatch. This video was inspired by another YouTuber, Ace Creeper, so go check out his channel. But yeah, I'm going to rank every movie that I saw from worst to best. Let's go. Coming in the last place is X-Men Origins Wolverine. This film is just abysmal. The story is just completely ripped off X-Men 2. Wolverine's claws, they look so bad, they look like cartoonish, it's awful. So many characters are just wasted completely and butchered, like the Blob, Sabretooth, and most infamously, Deadpool. They're just completely twisted and warped beyond belief. It's awful. And there's all this pomp and circumstance and all this baggage surrounding Wolverine, and it's like a standalone Wolverine movie can work. We saw that with Logan. That was loved. So a standalone Wolverine movie can work. This didn't. Hugh Jackman is the only good thing about it. The rest, just awful. At number 19, we have the Lion King remake from 2019. I can't stand this film. Like, The Lion King is my favourite animated movie. So what they did here is really insulting to the original movie. In the original, there's so much colour and life and expression to it. But with this, all of that energy is just sucked out of it. It's so bland and hollow. The colours are so muted and dull. There's no expression with the characters, so whenever there's meant to be an emotional scene, like with Mufasa's death, you've got Simba being very upset, and it's just this blank expression, and I was honestly laughing the first time I watched it. Considering the original made me cry, that should tell you all you need to know. This is just the very definition of a lazy cash grab. Number 18, we have The Amazing Spider-Man 2. This film is just such a mess. There's so many villains, and the villains are terrible. There's so many different plot lines and characters you have to follow. It's a mess. But there are some pretty good action scenes, and Gwen Stacy's death is actually quite affected. But it's just a real mess of a film. Number 17, we have Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I watched this in the cinema when it first came out in 2019, and I didn't know what to think of it. I didn't know what to make of it. So at some point this year, I rewatched it, and my thoughts? It's a mess. The production is an absolute mess. Like, bringing back the Emperor, you don't need to do that. It ruins Return of the Jedi's ending. All the characters, their characters are just nothing, pretty much. And it's a real anticlimax, but I kind of enjoy it on sort of a so bad it's good level, and it's not the worst Star Wars movie for me at least, but it's still pretty bad. At number 16, we have The Amazing Spiderman. This film is quite dull. Like, the villain is dull. It feels like just a paint by numbers remake of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, but yeah, it just feels quite dull. This film tried to do what The Dark Knight did and go all broody and dark, but for Spider-Man, I think you need to embrace the goofiness and its comic book roots. And I just don't know if it worked, really. It's quite dull and forgettable. But Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are really good in this film, and they have great chemistry. At number 15, we have Thor, the MCU movie that I watched last. For some reason, I don't know why. But yeah, this film, it's a good enough introduction to Thor. He's got a nice character arc in it. Anthony Hopkins is great. Tom Hiddleston as Loki's awesome. But yeah, some of the comedy can be a bit over the top in it. It's not the greatest movie, but it's solid. It's a good movie. At number 14, we have Sonic the Hedgehog, one of the few movies from 2020 I saw. This film is a really fun ride. CGI and Sonic looks very good. Jim Carrey's a great villain. Some great action scenes, some great humour. It's just a nice feel-good movie, but nothing too special. But yeah, if you want to see my full thoughts, check out the review I did. Number 13, we have Onward, another 2020 movie from Pixar here. One of their weaker films, but in no way is it bad. It's a really fun sort of adventure story. Chris Pratt and Tom Holland have great chemistry, and it's a pretty fun ride, with blending the mundane and the fantasy. It's quite cool. But the ending is absolutely incredible and really elevates this film for me. At number 12, we have Hairspray, the musical. Now, this is probably because I had to do a school play of this at one point, but this film always puts a smile on my face. It's just a very feel-good movie, a nice message, nice characters. The songs, I love the songs. I mean, You Can't Stop the Beat, the ending song is one to beat, and it's just a real feel-good film, and it's just very optimistic and light-hearted. Number 11, we have the Inbetweeners movie. Now, I love the Inbetweeners. It's absolutely brilliant, and this film is just great. It's got the humour, it's hilarious. The four lads are once again brilliant, and it acts as a nice little epilogue to the series. Like they are leaving school, and it's like a lads' holiday, and it's great. Like a lot of the characters' arcs get resolved. Like Will finally doesn't take the moral high ground. Simon gets over Carly, and it acts as a nice sort of coda to the series, and it's a nice film to watch at the summertime. At number 10, we have Home Alone. Now, I was slightly disappointed in this film, I won't lie, but it's not bad by any means. It's a great, fun film, nice Christmas movie, some really good creative stuff with the traps and the people breaking in, and it's a nice little film about family and Christmas and stuff like that, but not the masterpiece I was believed it was going to be. Number 9, we have The World's End. Now, this film is great. It's the weakest of the Cornetto trilogy, but it's still a really fun movie. It's a really cool sort of alien invasion story, but done a bit differently. The characters are brilliant, the humour's great. Edgar Wright's direction is awesome, and it's quite dark in places, a lot darker than the other two, and it's a brilliant film. Number 8, we have Soul, the Pixar movie that came out on Disney Plus at Christmas, and this film is fantastic, a proper classic Pixar movie standards. Animation is gorgeous, it's so creative and inventive. Joe and 22 Hour, two leads, are a really nice double act, and it's really funny. And this film is such a lovely film about hope, and it's very inspirational, and like what our purpose is and living life in every moment. It's what we needed really at the end of 2020, and it's a very hopeful film. At number 7, we have Elf, probably my favourite Christmas movie. It's so much fun. Elf in the big city, Will Ferrell as Buddy the Elf is awesome, and it's a really nice little Christmas film. It's just, it's nice and funny, but it's nice and heartwarming, and I just really enjoy it a lot more than Home Alone, I'd say. At number 6 is Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. Rewatching this film, oh my god, it's absolutely fantastic. The animation is gorgeous, and it's a real treat for the eyes. The references are awesome to past Spider-Man stuff. The characters are so great, and you really invest in them. It's a great ensemble film, and it's an absolutely fantastic Spider-Man film. Number 5, we have Hot Fuzz. This film is awesome. It's a great sort of spoof on the action movie genre mixed with the police genre. It's sort of a nice mix of that. It's just awesome. The action's great. Edgar Wright's directing is incredible. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are brilliant in this film, as well as the rest of the cast. They're amazing. And it's just a really funny movie, and it's quotable as all hell. If I do have a nitpick, it is a bit of a slow burner, but once it gets going, and it does not let go at all. Number 4, we have The Breakfast Club, the oldest film on this list, I think. This film is just an absolute masterpiece by John Hughes. The characters are brilliant. Every single character is amazing. The story is really simple, but it works so well. And it's the best sort of, don't put a label on yourself kind of story. It's executed in such a realistic and touching way, and it really resonates with people, and it's just a classic. Also as well, the song Don't You Forget About Me is just amazing. Don't you forget about me. At number 3, we have Groundhog Day. This Bill Murray comedy is just fantastic. Bill Murray is fantastic in this film, and the premise is so quirky and unique. This bloke who lives every single day for a long time. It's a great concept, and at the beginning you've got some really funny comedic stuff with him testing out this new way of life, like eating. One day he eats a load of stuff and stuff like that. But in the second half of the film, you get some really emotional stuff, and like him wanting to go back to a normal life, and it's genuinely it's genuinely powerful at the end, and it's an absolutely fantastic film. Number 2, we have Shaun of the Dead. This film is just incredible. The way it spoofs the zombie genre but makes it very tongue-in-cheek and comedic. It has the right blend of horror and gore mixed with comedy and really great one-liners, and it is absolutely hysterical, this film. All the characters are brilliant. Like, I mean, Shaun, I can really relate to because, you know, he's a nerd. He likes a lot of nerdy, geeky stuff. But all of the characters are great. They're very memorable, fleshed out, and yeah, they're brilliant. This film just has it all. Horror, comedy, emotion, humour, character, good plot, direction as well by Edgar Wright is phenomenal. It's just a masterpiece. But coming in at number 1 is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You guys know how much I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and for me, this is up there with Back to the Future as my favourite movie of all time. This is like number 2. It's either this or Back to the Future. This is just a masterpiece in every sense of the word. The story is great. The themes and message of like living life in every moment is just a really lovely message, and it really resonates with you. All the characters are brilliant. Matthew Broderick as Ferris himself is brilliant, and all the other characters are brilliant. John Hughes' direction is just amazing, and like his script is amazing. It's very realistic to how teenage life is, even 30 odd years later. The comedy is just brilliant. The way they break the fourth wall is awesome. There's so many iconic and quotable moments that just stand the test of time. And this is kind of why I was a bit disappointed by Home Alone, because that's also a John Hughes movie, because Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller's Day Off are so good. But yeah, this film is just it's just pretty much perfect, and it is a masterpiece, and I just can't recommend it.